Of course, I didn't dare challenge him in that, but I think we both agree that modeling good behavior in our daily lives is probably the best teacher.
Yeah. Well, I hope it's encouraging to parents, and it's meant to be to help them understand how big an influence they are. And this is very well proven, right? And it's been proven on the downside. Like even when teenagers are acting like they don't want to listen to their parents, which is a little bit natural for most teenagers, research shows over and over again that by far parents are the biggest influence on when, how, and to what degree our kids decide to drink and take substances. But on the upside as well, starting at an earlier age, even when they're young, pre-elementary into elementary, their understanding of God is going to be formed largely by how the parenting figures, their mom and dad, appear in their life, right? That's the person who has authority over them at that point. So they're going to partly form how they view God from how this authority figure that's in their life all the time interacts. And the example we set is absolutely huge. Just in terms of faith, right? I mean, if we, think that our kids will be more healthy being brought up in the church, so we dutifully drag them to Sunday school and church every week and think that's enough, but yet they don't see us living out a life of faith. And if we pray occasionally, it's a cursory, perfunctory pre-meal cited lesson, and we never pull out the Bible and we never reference our spirituality, and it doesn't seem to inform who we are, and we aren't kind and compassionate and serve others. Man, I hate to say it because like I said, parents are the heroes, but they need to know that's not a neutral position. They are modeling for their kids a life where God's not very important and we're all supposed to figure this out on ourselves, on our own. So it's absolutely critical, right? That we have a real, and when I say real, that includes vulnerable and transparent faith that we live out in front of our kids. That doesn't mean we're perfect. It doesn't mean we make mistakes. We're humans too. Kids understand that, but they are, especially when they get into the teenage years, they are incredibly adept at reading a lack of authenticity. And if we say one thing and live out another, our credibility just goes right through the floor. So
Right.
we've lost one of our biggest superpowers, right? Which is just the ability to model how to live life effectively when we aren't transparent and we don't set the right example for them.
Right. Yeah. Transparency is very important, and being able to say you're sorry when you mess up.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
I think it's important that we be humble enough to admit when we make a mistake and let the kids know that, okay, I didn't react right. I didn't react in a proper way. I my emotions got in the way, or because that's the way my dad was. He had a temper, and there were times with my kids that I reacted the same way he did with me.